What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to ECT Vision. If you like this channel, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and drop any thoughts you have below in the comment box. I wanted to do this video because I am watching a video about mental health issues that are caused by racism. And I thought it was an interesting video. I want to play some of the audio here, though. I don't want to play the whole video, but let you hear some of the audio. I want to share some of my thoughts that I got from listening to it. I feel like there's a misconception on what racism is. Everybody is throwing in their own anecdotal experiences. It's not rooted in anything that's like super outward. Like, let's say you go to a grocery store and it's like it's a white only sign in front of the grocery store, and or a mob of people gather around you and start beating you up because you're sitting in a restaurant that says white only. You know what I'm saying? These days people are saying that racism is like microaggressions. Like I heard this lady say something like her asking about the texture of my hair and asking if she could touch it is a microaggression of racism or some shit like that. And I'm just kind of curious on how is that a bad thing that someone wants to feel your hair, somebody who is from a different culture than you, who probably has never seen a black person before in their life, but they're like curious about what does your hair feel like, how do you clean it, like what, because that's a question that I would ask too if I was a white person. I mean, hell, I ask why the fuck do white people hair look the way it do when it get wet? Like, I've asked that question too. I mean, it's just curiosities. So why can't we just openly have that discussion without people getting offended? I mean, that's what I don't understand. But let me go ahead and get into this this clip real quick.
We have to think about this at the level of the community. We have to think of this at the level of the institutions, and institutions can be schools, healthcare agencies, law enforcement, judicial systems, and then there are the individual experiences of discrimination and prejudice, the microaggression, the slight, the insult, the not even the slight, the in your face, so it's all of those things combine and create a system in which people's health, particularly Black people's health, is at tremendous risk all the time. And this is cumulative. Research that's done over time is called longitudinal research. And there's been longitudinal research that has measured people multiple times over a certain time period. And what they've seen is that the more of these experiences a person has, the worse the mental health outcomes. So this is a crisis. And we also talk about something called health.
If you notice that a lot of the stories that people talk about how they experience some sort of racism, it's not really rooted in anything that's outward. It's just like you have to just take a guess if it's racism or not. Did this person say the N-word to you? Even if the person said the N-word to you, can we really say that person is racist? What if he was just doing it just to insult you because you're Black? It's just like if a Black person call a white person a cracker, that don't necessarily means he's a fucking racist. I mean, what are we defining as racist nowadays is what I'm trying to get to. Like, so let's listen to this a little bit more.
Health disparities. We're seeing this with coronavirus right now. Black people are having worse outcomes with the virus. They're more likely to get more severe illness. They're more likely to end up in the hospital and more likely to die.
Okay. So how do you blame a pandemic that's killing everybody on racism? So because Black people are less likely to survive from COVID-19, that's rooted in some sort of systemic racism. How about the fact that that we have a high obesity rate in the African American community? It hits home when it starts getting to that type of conversation, which is why nobody wants to have that conversation. They'll just blow it off like, oh, we're just going to call it systemic racism, because it's almost like they don't want to hold us accountable. And instead of trying to help us and telling us how we can fix it and why it's going on, they blame it on some exterior phenomena like racism.